Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's meeting, February 27, 2025. Planning Commission meeting. Can we please stand for the... Oh, I call the meeting to order at 9 a.m. And can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? All right. We do have the oath of office, which will be administered by Maria Valdez for our 2 new planning commissioners. I think we're going to do the oath down here.
You stand right here. Good morning. Maria Valadez, Registrar of Voters, here to administer the oath for Miley Field and Monica Rosenthal. So I will have you both raise your right hand, and then I'll have you each state your name, and you'll repeat after me. I do solemnly swear. You guys can do it together at this point, yeah. Yes. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations. Okay, if I can have you, if I can have you sign your oath here before you guys walk off. So, Monica, if I can have you sign right here. Oh. Thank you. And then Miley.
And you should check my ex records, because I think they have the address.
Let's get rid of that.
Your what?
I now live in District 4.
Who has your address wrong? Oh, that's, all right.
Oh, wait, yeah. Oh, wait, let's do that again. Nope, no, we gotta do photo op. Oh, that's better. Maria, please. Okay. I'm gonna keep taking photos until she gets here. Yay, thank you. Oh, that was good. I like that one. Okay, thank you.
All right. Check, check. So, Commissioner Field, welcome back. I think a seat was waiting for you. And Commissioner Rosenthal, I haven't had the pleasure to meet you, but I look forward to working together and see your contributions to the Planning Commission. And it's exciting to have all the seats finally filled for the year 2025, and we got a lot of work ahead, so welcome back. Okay, so verification of legal notice. Thank you. And we do have one item in the consent agenda to approve the minutes from February 13th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Seeing none? So 3 in favor, 2 abstain. Motion passes. And public input. Anyone from the public can speak on any item that is not in today's agenda. And if you would like to speak, come up to the podium and you'll have 3 minutes. And we'll take a quick glance at the Zoom room to see if there's anyone in there. Seeing none and seeing none in the chambers, we will move down to our timed items. I do have a time of 9:05, so we will begin with our first timed item. Public hearing, consideration of major use permit renewal, UPX 24-02, for continued operation of the La Monica off-site advertising billboard sign. Major use permit 97-05, and minor use permit 99-17, located at 2560 East State Highway 20 in Nice, APNs 201-040-02. And we have staff.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pablo Guerrero, a planner from Community Development Department. I'm here to present the major use permit renewal for La Monica signs, and also there's a representative present in Zoom. Request and project purpose. Approval for renewal of an off-site advertising billboard originally approved with major use permit 9705 for an additional 5-year period. No adjustments to the billboard or site are proposed. Compliance with the general plan, zoning ordinance, and aerial plan to be determined by a planning commission. Site description. The parcel size is approximately 24.53 acres. It is split zone, so commercial district and design review combining district. And on the north side of the parcel, it is rural residential. The general plan designation is service commercial and rural residential. The supervised serial district is 3. The parcel is adjacent to State Highway 20, but is outside the scenic combining district. The project layout. The structure features 2 faces, each measuring 240 square feet, and stands 22 feet tall, comprising of a 12-foot post supporting a 10-foot wide billboard. 20 foot, and the length is 20 feet in wide length for the billboard. Sorry about that. The existing lighting shall continue to be directed at the sign, downcast lighting, and shall not create glare to the neighboring properties, which shall be in compliance with the Lake County standards for light pollution. The sign shall be maintained in good condition for the life of the project. The billboard shall be continued to comply with all applicable provisions of the Caltrans Outdoor Advertising Act. Applicants are required to renew with the Caltrans in 2028 if they continue to use the major use permit renewal. Project analysis. The Lake County General Plan. Policy LU 7.19. Commercial design guidelines on billboards, along with amortization provisions as necessary to protect and preserve the beauty, character, economic, and aesthetic value of the county. Site designated as service commercial accommodates for billboards with a major use permit. La Monica Signs Use Permit UP 9705 is an established and is in compliant use. It does not detract from Lake County's aesthetics and provides economic benefits. The renewal of the major use permit aligns with the land use elements, goals, and policies. The Upper Lake and Nice Area Plan. Policy 3.5.2b, to maintain the quality of the viewshed, off-site commercial signs and billboards shall be prohibited in designated scenic corridors. The renewal of the major use permit retains previous conditions of approval. It limits the sign size to align with the area plan and the zoning ordinance. The lighting must be downcasted and shielded. Billboard is outside of the designated scenic corridor in the area plan. Renewal of the major use permit complies with and supports the Upper Lake Nice Area Plan. The Lake County Zoning Ordinance, Article 20. In accordance with Article 20, Section 18, it is necessary to adhere to the signage regulations outlined in Article 45. Article 45, regulations for signs, billboards are allowed to be extended for a maximum of a term of 5 years, which is obtained with the major use permit. It was originally obtained with the major use permit 9705 on September 25th, 1997. No changes to the permit is being requested. Project operation remains compliant with zoning Article 45 and is allowed to request a renewal of 5 years. Article 53, design review combining district. It is necessary for a project to be reviewed for its design if it's along selected scenic routes. The design of the billboard will remain unchanged, therefore the existing major use permit, as previously noted, is adequate for the design review process. Thus, no additional review is necessary. The project is in compliance with the Lake County zoning ordinance. Environmental review pursuant to CEQA section 15301, class 1, existing facilities. The proposed major use permit renewal is exempt from further environmental review. The exemption applies because the billboard is an existing facility and the project involves no expansion and of the existing use. Major use permit renewal recommendations. Adopt categorical exemption CE 24-47 from a sequel under section 15301 class 1 existing facilities. And approve major use permit renewal UPX 24-02 with the proposed conditions of approval and with the findings found in the staff report. And that concludes my presentation for today for the major use permit renewal.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions from the commission towards staff?
I have a question. I didn't see in the regulations when it says abandonment of permit, what does that mean? Does that mean that there's no advertising up there? Because that sign, to my recollection, has been in that particular situation with just a phone number up there for quite a long time. So can it be that way for what extended period of time before it has some sort of other advertisement?
That's a really good question. We haven't actually entertained that, so long as it still is in use. So the advertisement or the phone number listing for the option of advertisement, we would still consider that active. It's a lot easier to tell on different use permits than it would be a billboard that's still just standing there. Yeah, I'll think about that. We haven't done it yet.
I just wondered, I've seen the phone number there for a long time, and I didn't know whether that constituted being used or had been abandoned. So that was just my wonderment on that.
Yeah, good
I
point.
just have a quick comment. Would that technically be considered advertisement?
It's an advertisement for advertisement,
Yeah.
yeah.
That it's available.
And also, I think it would be more, the way I would see it is if the owners of the sign didn't renew, that would be considered the
Abandonment. yeah.
abandonment.
That makes sense, because our first follow-up as staff would then be to call to see if they were
Right.
still using that billboard. And it looks like, because they did apply for their extension, that they do intend to use it in the future.
Well, they're hopeful.
Yeah, they're hoping.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, and I would like to add on to that comment just as well. They also have to renew with Caltrans, the Outdoor Advertising Act, and they've been doing that every 5 years with the major use permit renewal. So that's like another sign that shows it's active as they're applying for a Caltrans renewal permit.
I think they have to apply in the next 3 years, correct?
Yes,
For Caltrans.
by 2028
Yeah.
to keep it active.
Perfect.
I have a question that's related but not exactly on topic. Are we still issuing new permits for billboards as a county?
We have not, the board has not declared any sort of moratorium, so it is still open. We have not had any applications for quite some time.
Yeah, I just have a comment then. I think it's clear that billboards have become obsolete, and I think they are a public nuisance. They block the view. It's a beautiful county. And I'd like to send a message to the Board of Soups that we perhaps put a moratorium on. That's all my comment.
So, seeing no more comments from the commission, I'll bring it back to, or I'll open up public input. See if there's any public comment on this specific item. I don't see anybody in the Zoom room, is that correct? Nobody in the Zoom room. And I see that the applicant is here, is that correct? The applicant for on Zoom?
Yeah.
Applicant, would you like to say any Anything for your project?
Is the applicant Samsung S92 or Trudy?
Trudy.
Trudy, okay, then let's ask on mute. Okay, Trudy, if you can unmute.
I appreciate your consideration, and I don't have too much comments right now.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no more comments. I think we're getting feedback. Seeing comments, I'm going to be closing the public input and bringing it back to the commission for action.
I guess the only comment I had, I thought the applicant was going to provide more background, was some of the trees that are growing, and I don't know if it's in the same property, that eventually are going to obstruct the sign if they continue to grow. So I was kind of wondering what the maintenance was going to be on those trees when that time does approach.
If they obstruct the sign, then I have to go through, I believe, DOT to get permission to trim anything.
Thank you.
So I wasn't aware that the trees were blocking it.
Okay, thank you very much.
The trees are not blocking the view as we talk right now, but eventually they're going to grow to that size.
Thank you.
And I'm still waiting for action or discussion, further discussion on the item.
If there's no additional comments, I'll entertain the motion.
A second.
Okay, thank you. I move that the negative declaration, which was previously prepared for major use permit UP 97-05, does meet the requirements of the California Code of Regulations, Title 14, Division 6, Chapter 13, Article 19, Section 15301, existing facilities, Class 1 of the CEQA guidelines, and that no additional environmental review needs to be prepared with the findings listed in the staff report dated February 27, 2025.
Can I get a second?
Second. Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
4 ayes and 1 opposed. Motion passes.
Okay, furthermore, I move that the Planning Commission find that the major use permit renewal UPX 24-02 applied for by Trudy LaMonica on property located at 2560 State Highway 20, Nice, does meet the requirements of Section 51.4 of the Lake County zoning ordinance, and grant that the major use permit renewal is subject to the conditions listed in attachment 2 and with the findings listed in the staff report dated February 27, 2025.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Motion passes with 4 ayes and 1 no. Note, the applicant or any interested person is reminded that the zoning ordinance provides for a 7 calendar day appeal period. If there's a disagreement with the Planning Commission's recommendation, an appeal to the Board of Supervisors may be filed. The appropriate forms and applicable fee must be submitted prior to 5 p.m. on or before the 7th calendar day following the Commission's final determination.
Chair Chavez, if I might go back to Commissioner Field's comment, if the Commission does have, the process of getting notification to the board would be actually us getting consensus right now from the Commission to put an item on the agenda to discuss it and take action for such a recommendation. So I wasn't sure, I didn't see a lot of nods, but I wasn't looking. So if it is the consensus or the feel of this Commission that you'd like to discuss the possibility of recommending a moratorium on billboards, we'd appreciate some direction.
Personally, I'm pretty neutral on the subject, but if there's anyone in the Commission that would like to have that recommendation made,
I'd love to see it discussed. I think that it's an issue that probably our tourism industry might be interested in discussing. Yeah, I think it should be put on an agenda. I don't know if the proper form would be here or there.
It would first come to the planning commission for an opportunity to discuss and actually take action. Since it's not on the agenda today, we can't do that here.
Right.
But if the commission would like, we will add it to the next agenda.
I would like that.
I'm open to having the conversation, and at this point, I don't have a preference either way.
As am I. I'm wondering if this should also be part of an area plan or the general plan as we're going forward, if we make a recommendation. Might be,
It has not previously been discussed in either the LAPACs or the GPACs, but we could keep that in mind going forward, because we're not done with Lake County. So I see 3. We'll go ahead and get that on the next agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
And moving on to our non-timed items. None. Department update.
Thank you. So a number of our staff have been working diligently, one might say frantically, to prepare for our transition from Acela, which is an electronic permitting system that has been a long bane of our community development department existence, over to a new, more manageable, more intuitive system that's called OpenGov. If it sounds familiar to anyone, that is because OpenGov is the electronic permitting system used currently by the cities of Clear Lake and Lakeport. So we are transitioning over, which I think is going to be great, because now people looking for permits either in the cities or the counties will have the same system to deal with. So hopefully that'll make it easier for the public. As part of this transition, our counter is going to go dark while we're transferring data into the new system. So on Friday, this Friday, the 28th, tomorrow, our counters will be closed. Anyone who wants to schedule an inspection, instead of doing it online just for tomorrow, we ask that they call the department, and we'll continue to schedule inspections. We'll continue to do inspections. It's just that our counter will be closed. We will open up with our shiny new system on Monday, March 3rd. And everything we'd like to think everything's going to go perfectly smoothly. We do anticipate a few glitches, so we do ask for patience with the public while we work on this system that we think, when we're done, is going to be way better than what we've had before. And Michelle, who has been knee-deep in it for quite some time, may have some details about the new system that she'd like to share.
Yeah, thank you. I was just going to add, for our current planning projects that are in process, we will be inputting those ourselves into the new system so that it's not a burden on the applicant to reapply, essentially, because the data is not coming over as active projects from our current system. So we will be contacting all of our applicants and working with them diligently and doing sort of the heavy lifting for inputting that application into the system, so that hopefully it'll be minimal efforts for them. And then one really great thing is we'll be able to directly communicate through the application software of OpenGov, and they'll be able to see where they're at in our workflow status, which is sort of our processing steps. So there'll be a lot more transparency and information for them readily available.
One last thing, or did anyone have any questions on that?
Yeah, one quick question, Director. So for example, the glitches and whatever is experiencing during this transition, have you guys reached out to the City of Lakeport or Clear Lake to see if they kind of had the same issues? And
We have been in close contact with the City of Lakeport during this whole process. It was actually helpful for their recommendation that we decided to choose this particular system, because they love it. So we're excited. It's just the county system is a bit more of a beast than a city. So we're really excited about this new system. It's going to be great.
Last thing I'll add is we also have a hypercare whole plan set up for each division, and working with OpenGov over the next 2 weeks to troubleshoot any issues.
And then the last item I have is, once a year, I like to host our department staff at my house for food. so that we can hang out away from the counter. So this year, it's going to be next Thursday from 11 to 3. And if any of you are interested in attending, you are more than welcome. And I promise you, we won't talk about any planning stuff. From 11 to 3, sort of an open house. And I can get with you later regarding my address. That is all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. So now, I call this meeting adjourned at 9:24.